Hey Teddy, I see you're all ready for today's episode. But look at the kitchen. We can't have an episode of Chef Teddy and Paul with a kitchen that looks like this. Well, that's much better. Let's get started. Hey everybody, welcome to episode 7? Episode, what number are we on? When I stopped doing them every day, I started to lose track of which day was which. That was 5, and then 6 was the news. No, 6 was the movies. Okay, so 7. So yeah, episode 7 of I'm Not Confined, but I Probably Should Be. And today we're gonna make a copycat recipe. Now, copycat recipe is usually one that takes somebody else's recipe and tries to find a way to make it taste the same way. Sometimes that's possible, sometimes it's not. We're gonna see. And this particular recipe is for the Jack Daniel's glaze of they have at TGI Fridays. And we're going to try and make the TGI Fridays Jack Daniel's chicken dish. And yeah, Teddy had wanted to make Jack Daniel's seal fillets, but we were having a really hard time sourcing the seal meat, so we went with chicken instead. But come on, I'll show you what you need to do. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is you want to take your garlic, your whole clove of garlic, and the pointy end, you're going to cut about a ½ an inch off. Come on, little buddy. Cut. All right. And then we're going to remove the papery stuff on the outside. Not the whole thing, because you don't want it to fall apart. You want all the cloves to stick together. Pull some of this papery stuff off. Alright, that looks pretty good. Looks like that. Throw away the trash. And then we just put it so that it sits flat in the middle of a baking pan. And we're going to stick that in the oven at 325 degrees for an hour. And that is just to prep the garlic and get it roasted. And we'll come back to it soon. While our garlic is off in the onion yes, it's off in the onion. No. When our garlic is off in the oven doing its thing, we're going to mix several of our ingredients into a medium saucepan. And one of the ingredients is we want 2/3 cup of water, 1 cup of pineapple juice, 1/4 cup of teriyaki sauce, 1 tablespoon of soy sauce, 1 1/3 cup brown sugar. Give those a nice little stir. Okay. And we're going to add those to the heat. Put those on some heat. And bring it to a boil. Okay, Patty, move over a little bit so they can see. And now another ingredient is minced onion, white onion. So I've got an onion here and I've peeled a little bit of it off. And I'm just giving it some mincing. Ah! Whoa, too much. Turn that down. Shh, calm down. Okay, baby, okay, that's good, okay. We wanted it to reach a boil, but that's a little bit much. And we want just a simmer. Just a simmer now. The heat's down. Just keep it at a little bit of a roil, a little bit of a simmer. I think I might have got that plate a little bit too close to the fire. Watch your butt there, Teddy. Okay, I think we probably have 3 tablespoons here at least. Just make sure they're all fully sliced. I don't want any big pieces. When you eat this at the restaurant, there's pieces of something in there, but I always thought it was currant. But maybe it's the white onion covered in the sweet sauce, just making it taste different. Okay. Use my little handy dandy spoon. About 1 tablespoon. Put that in there. 2 tablespoons. And 3 tablespoons. Close enough. Okay. Let's see, I got 3 tablespoons of lemon juice as well. We have the star ingredient. Those suckers don't like to open, do they? Alright. 1 tablespoon of Jack Daniels Tennessee whiskey. Put that in there. Ooh, that smells strong. Yowie. One tablespoon of crushed pineapple. Right there. And 1/4 teaspoon of ground cayenne pepper. Ooh, another thing that's burning my nose. Nice. Okay. Now that we've got this over here simmering, we've got our ingredients placed out, so we're ready to go with them. We're going to get our garlic, which is now done out of the oven and gotten a chance to cool down. I've cooled it a little bit over here so I can handle it. And we're going to give it a squeeze. And voila, that's how you make roasted garlic paste. and get it all over your fingers and smell like garlic for the rest of your life. Okay, and we need 2 teaspoons of that. Thank you. 2 teaspoons of this garlic paste. Teaspoon. We're going to mix that right into our simmering mixture over here. Be careful with your garlic paste. There may be some harder parts of it that, did not liquefy, pastify. So make sure you don't get those in there. You don't want to have a really hard piece of garlic. All right, that's 2 tablespoons of that, or 2 teaspoons of that. And then we're going to whisk it together. All right, now that we've got the garlic in there pretty well, fish out any extra big pieces that might be sitting in there that are not liquefied. Okay, and then mix the rest of your ingredients in. The 3 tablespoons of minced onion, or white onion, it's minced white onion. 1 tablespoon of crushed pineapple. 1/4 teaspoon of your ground cayenne pepper. 3 tablespoons of lemon juice. And 1 tablespoon Jack Daniels. Just pulling out any big chunky pieces of the onions or garlic. All right, so now we leave that on the heat for 40 to 50 minutes simmering and let it reduce down about half consistency. You want it to get to a syrupy form. I'll come back when it gets there. All right, now that our sauce is reducing, and it's going to be for a little while now, we can prepare our chicken. And I'm going to do it a little bit differently this time. I'm going to tenderize it a bit this time, because I'd like it to be a little bit less thick. So because we're trying to create the same thing as what they have at TGI Fridays, and their chicken is not a big thick piece, it's a flatter piece. I could butterfly it, but I'm going to try pounding it this time. Give it a flip-see. Alright, it's a pretty good looking piece. Let's put this in my pan over here. And I can do the yellow. It's good for taking out the aggression, you know, all those people who have different political views than you on Facebook. You just think about them when you're slamming this. Alright, very good. You gotta be careful with this sauce too, because it will want to bubble over, regardless of how low you have the heat. If it's continuing to simmer, it's going to continue to try and bubble. I don't know if you can see that. I can't turn it and not pour it on the ground. So we'll just put it back on the heat and you'll have to imagine what it looks like. Maybe I can move the camera. It will try to bubble over. Don't let it. But how do I prevent it from bubbling over? Well, you stir it, you blow on it, you take it off the heat for a second, put it back, you know, just keep your eye on it. Okay, so, all right, what we're doing. We are gonna take about half a stick of butter, and we're gonna soften it up in the microwave. That's unsalted butter, by the way. put that into our pan here. And I have to wash my hands now because I have to use both hands. Notice I wasn't using my left hand because I had touched the chicken with that hand. I hadn't touched it with the right, but now I need both hands. So I have poultry seasoning here, and poultry seasoning has thyme, sage, marjoram, rosemary, black pepper, and nutmeg in it. So we're going to use that to kind of give our little dusting here with our butter. We're also going to use some garlic salt, which is going to give us a salt and a garlic, so we don't have to put both things on. If you don't have garlic salt, you can use just garlic powder and then salt as well. But if you have the combination, that's even better. One less ingredient. I'm going to give that a little bit of a thing over there. And this red cayenne pepper that we used in the sauce here, we're going to give that a little dusting here to do a little bit. Now we're just going to put the chicken in it, or just give it a little rub down with it. It's going to infuse the chicken with a little bit more flavors than what the chicken would have normally by itself. Alright, our sauce has reached its desired consistency and is reduced. Now we can carefully transfer it. Yeah, it's about right. It's supposed to make about a cup. Made about a cup. All right, so now we've got our sauce done, our glaze. The next step is to get our chicken ready. So we got our chicken already seasoned and it's sitting here for a little while, about a half an hour. It's been sitting with the seasonings on it, so that's about enough time. And we're just gonna pop them down on the grill. Looks like I'm gonna be able to fit 2 of them at a time. So I'll just do like that. And they will sit there, I'd say probably 4, maybe 5 minutes per side. And then flip them over and do the same thing on the other side. Real easy. Teddy, why don't you keep an eye on these? You may want this.
Walking like a man, eating like a hammer, she's a juvenile scam. Never was a quitter, crazy like a raindrop. She's got the look, heavenly bound, cause heaven's got a number when she's spinning me around. Kissing is the color, her living is a wild dog. She's got the look, she's got the look, she's got the look. What in the world can make a brown-eyed girl turn blue? When everything I'll ever do, I do for you. And I go la 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 la.
How's it going, Teddy? We almost there? Oh, looks like they're ready to flip over. Here, let me take care of it for you. I heard you singing, Teddy. Very nice. They're taking after me, I see. The people like it. They like the singing, so it's good. So Roxette was a good choice. I see you're holding true to your Scandinavian roots. What are they? They're from Sweden, right? That's right next door to you. Okay, we're very close to being done now. We've flipped these over a couple of times, and now we're just going to lay our sauce in. I have a new basting brush. But just on one side. You don't want to flip this over once this is on there. This is too sugary to go into the griddle. And that definitely looks right. Well, you can't have Friday's chicken without Friday's French fries. So I'm going to make an attempt to make those as well. I've got the recipe for the spices that they put on it, and I've got these shoestring potatoes. I was going to make them from scratch, but that's a long process that I didn't want to get into. I got my air fryer. Drop a portion of those on there. That's about enough. All right. Okay, so the recipe is broken up into proportionalities. So it talks about parts. It doesn't talk about, you know, a tablespoon or a teaspoon or whatever. So I'm going to use a tablespoon as my particular part. So it calls for 2 parts garlic salt, for the heck's sake. Bummer. Two parts garlic salt. 1 part cracked black pepper, which is not the same as ground pepper. You can make this yourself using peppercorns and just grinding them down, hitting it with a hammer, or using a mortar and pestle if you have one. But I bought this. Okay, 1 of those. Half a part of white sugar, and half a part of onion powder. Mix vigorously. I suppose I can put the lid on that. Long lid. And now that's what I'll season my fries with. Hopefully it tastes right. Smells good. So, it's all done. Let's see what it tastes like. Dip in the sauce. That's actually really close. The sauce got a little bit too reduced. Something to remember that the recipe did not tell me was that once you take it off the heat, it does continue to thicken. So I took it off the heat when I thought it was at the proper thickness. Now it's very, very thick. So I've added a little bit of water back. I'm probably going to need to add even more water back to it because it is still continuing to thicken up. It's more like a caramel at this point than it is like a barbecue sauce type thing. So we're definitely going to have to add a little bit more water. Let's try the fries. That's not far. See if a little bit of ketchup add. Because I always eat them with ketchup. Yeah, that's pretty much exactly them. Well, fantastic. All right, so we've reached the end of episode 7 of I'm Not Confined, but I Probably Should Be. And I hope you guys are all having a good time, enjoying life, and if you make this dish, you'll probably like it. It's good. All right, we'll see you next time. Think you might want to have dessert afterwards? Ooh, we should make that Oreo sundae thing that they have at TGI Fridays. It was like an Oreo ice cream sandwich with Oreo ice cream and then with caramel and chocolate sauce dripped on it. That might be good.
But we don't have any Oreo ice cream.
We'll figure something out. Well, it looks great. Rice Krispie treat on caramel with magic shell and a whipped cream top. Now that's a dessert. Numbers.